Hey guys, it's Will. Happy Friday. Today we're going over BigBear AI. Now, AI companies are growing extremely fast, and one of the fastest markets is AI and defense. The defense market is big because the government is really finding that there are a lot of tasks that are repetitive that can be replaced and even optimized using AI, and that's where BigBear AI comes in. Some investors refer to them as Big Brother. It's interesting to watch the stock. They've had some pumps, they've had some dumps even, but that's not really what we're anticipating with the stock. We started covering them back in November 2024. At one point, they surged to $10.36 in February before selling off with the greater market. The recent recovery is this new trend that is starting to develop. You can kind of see it take place here. And if we get rid of these levels, really look at where it is today, it's had this consistent uptrend since April. What we saw recently was a little bit of a break in pattern there where it consolidated outward. And now we're starting to see this new level. There's this support right here. It's a previous resistance level right here. And resistance, right here, resistance, some consolidation and support. That's where it is right now. Now it broke below, so it's consolidating a little bit on that level today. We saw it sell down right at market open. So you can see we have a little position there on the short term that says $93 down. We have a long-term position that has an average cost of $2.80 that is up. What we did was sell for a profit on June 4th at market open. I could pull it up and show you guys that trade, but essentially we bought BigBear around 381 and we sold it at 425, and then we bought back here with some shares, and then we watched it sell down, and it sold down from that 425. And it's not really a position we have a lot, like it's not a lot of shares, just 234. But then it sold in the past day. It pushed up right up to $4 and then sold off for the rest of the day, consolidating on this $3.80 price point. So the progression from a time perspective is now we're starting to see it consolidate out of this uptrend, and the resistance, there's a couple levels. There's this resistance right here at about $4, but there's also a pretty strong support down at around $3.50 that we could see it potentially reach. So $3.50 right here, you can see it, it's pretty strong. And if you back up, you can see it even more here. This consolidation, I guess there's a resistance there as well, but that's kind of maybe if it sells down aggressively, let's say that it doesn't hold this level, that $3.50 is kind of the next downtrend that would, now that it's breaking this uptrend pattern, would make sense. BigBear long term looks good. You got a lot of things working for them in their favor. When we look at the stock, you got institutional holders big time. So we got Charles Schwab, BlackRock, Vanguard, and State Street. And then one thing to note too, and then when it comes to their news, they have a CFO transition. So you could see new CFO Sean Ricker appointed, and the company focus is on AI-powered decision intelligence. When we look at their market cap, just over $1 billion, and their recent financials, they've started to improve. Look, quarter over quarter, the net income has had some downward momentum. You look there, they had a net income pretty negative here in the year, but then they started to recover. Taking a look at the balance sheet, this recent quarter, they paid off some of those liabilities down, and the total assets surging to about 400 million. So the financials look pretty good. They're looking better, and their assets are increasing there quarter over quarter for the most part. Now, year over year, and we look at the cash flow, On the annual basis, it's been a little volatile, so not a lot to work with there. And then when we look at their stock from their technology perspective, they have a lot of things happening for them, right? So one of the biggest institutions, you got BlackRock invested, but you also have this interest in not just transportation, but now even working with some space solutions here. You got this space solution, Department of Air Force in late 2024. They're doing space. And then another subscriber commented recently saying BigBear has a potential to show signs of actually getting some more contracts with space companies. Now, we know that they've said they were competing with Leidos, which is cybersecurity, at the borders, but also they're a space company. And that's kind of similar here. We don't see them saying that they're a space company or anything like that yet. But when you go to their defense, Department of Homeland Security, the Army contracts, the Navy contracts, then they have, Department of Defense contracts, and then they have their VeriScan, which I think is one of their biggest technologies that we're starting to see pop up across airports throughout the US that's scanning the face of people. So you have those solutions starting to hit. And then you have AI orchestration, this new Conductor OS. And this is a fusion at the tactical edge. Looks like AI and machine learning models that are optimized for a couple things. Look, you got multi-cloud, you got sea, you got land, space, and air. And they even have scheduled a demo, and they show some of their software here that's being used. It looks pretty similar to, that of maybe Palantir, as they are partnered with Palantir as well. So a lot of things happening there. When it comes to the technicals, what I'd like to see on Monday is potentially holding this strong support level at about $3.86. If it doesn't hold there, most likely looking for a buy down around $3.50 potentially if the bullish momentum doesn't continue. Now, we have our long-term positions. The short-term would be nice if we see that overall trend continue up, something like this, be about a 26% increase, but there is some caution to be had as, of course, just as quickly as it can shoot up, can also drop just as fast. So you want to have caution, make sure that if you're entering any trade here, you have a plan, and that's the most important thing. Guys, when it comes to making any profits in the market, whether you have a goal of just making a couple $100 or making, let's say, thousands of dollars or millions of dollars, the most important thing is that you have a plan and you consistently work towards it. So setting a goal and making sure that that's what you're working towards and having a clear goal in mind, that is one of the keys to making sure. I believe like one of the main things that's led to my success in investing has been setting clear goals, whether it's dollar cost averaging for the long term in tech companies, or it's finding trades that make sense for the short term. Having a plan is what it's all about. And so in this video, I also want to offer you guys this here. It's Plan Your Profit. If you guys want a stock profit calculator, I use it quite often. We just developed it about 3 days ago. For example, if I buy at $5, it's at $6. Let's say I have that many shares. I can look at it and see, where my profit would be based on what price it arrives at. And I also can see, where to sell and where to buy if I'm having a plan that has this type of risk to reward. So it's very helpful for me. I use it quite often. You can grab it absolutely free, unlimited usage, and feel free to give me your thoughts on what you think about it in the first link in the description. Totally free. Go grab it. It doesn't work so well right as of this moment on mobile, but it works great on the computer. So feel free to give it a shot. It's that first link below. Second link in the description for the daily live trading, and we'll be going there on Monday, 6:30 a.m. Pacific Standard Time in the markets. If you want to be there, it's the second link below. Thanks so much for watching. I appreciate you all, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Take care.